My name is Daniel Inaju. I'm a 300 level software engineering student of Veritas University Abuja, offering SIN 304, which with the course title of Software Engineering Project Management. And this course is being facilitated or taken by Dr. Anayo Ikebu, aka Analyst. So today I'll be presenting a 10 paper I prepared captioned Advancement in Healthcare Optimization, a synthesis of emerging methodologies. So my agenda for this presentation includes the following: introduction to healthcare optimization, emerging methodologies, comparative advantages over traditional methods, future directions, and conclusion and question and answer. So, for the introduction, healthcare systems worldwide are under immense pressure, grappling with pervasive inefficiencies that manifest as protracted patient waiting times, escalating operational costs, fragmented care workflows, and suboptimal resource utilization. These challenges directly impact patient outcomes, staff well-being, and the overall sustainability of healthcare delivery. Traditional optimization methods, which include manual data collection and observation, static scheduling, algorithms, rudimentary queuing models, and basic statistical analysis of historical data, are increasingly ill-equipped to handle these complexities. So, their limitation often includes an inability to adapt to real-time changes, inadequate protection of sensitive patient data, and inability to the lack of predictive power for proactive decision making. So the emerging technologies in my 10 paper to address these issues includes the following: privacy preserving optimization, hybrid machine learning models, and quantitative data-driven frameworks. So privacy preserving optimization. So with this technique called multi-party computation and homophobic encryption. So I'll be speaking about the MPC first, which stands for Secure Multi-Party Computation. So what does it do? It enables multiple distinct parties, each holding private data, to jointly compute a function over their combined data without revealing their individual raw data inputs to each other. So this is achieved through cryptographic protocols that distribute computation across encrypted shared data. So in my 10 paper, citing Spinney et al., demonstrated a practical application of MPC to analyze and decluster hospital staff workflow using sensitive real-time location system data. That's called RTLS. So, this RTLS tracks staff movement to understand their workflow and pattern. So I just talked about it, the GPDR compliance for privacy. So I'll be speaking about the limitation of this particular technique. So the identified limitation of this particular technique involves primary drawback. The primary drawback of this secure multi-party computation includes the primary drawback includes high infrastructural demand high infrastructural demand and high infrastructural demand associated with integrated HE, that is homophobic encryption into IoT ecosystem. This includes the need for substantial computational resources to handle complex cryptographic operations of HE and robust communication networks. To manage the workflow of encrypted data from myriad IoT devices to processing centers. Now, the homomorphic encryption allows computation on encrypted data. So this is basically like um, encrypting and encrypted data. So it's like a two level of encryption. This is a very secure way, secure technique we can employ into primary healthcare system to secure patients' data. And so the limitation of this particular encryption is high infrastructural demand. I spoke. It's still the same with the other technique I talked about, the MPC, which stands for secure. MPC, which stands for secure multi-party computation. Yes. So next is hybrid machine learning model. Hybrid machine model like CCRBM-WO combine feature extraction and optimization to enhance accuracy and speed in healthcare prediction, outperforming traditional methods significantly. Quantitative data-driven framework, which includes carrying out surveys to identify regional healthcare priorities and role-based insights for tailored solutions. So the limitation of this is sampling bias. So I should talk about this, but I'm quite time conscious. So, but anyways, I'll try to briefly speak about it. So sampling bias. So purposive sampling involves selecting participants based on specific characteristics relevant to their study aim, which, while useful for gathering targeted information, may not yield a sample that is fully representative of the entire healthcare system, professional population, and as a result, it limits the generalizability of some findings. Comparative advantages over traditional method. So comparative advantages over traditional model includes the following: MPC based clustering versus manual observation. CCRBM-WO versus logistic regression, machine learning driven survey versus linear programming. So future direction: hybrid cryptographic ML model, edge computing for reduced latency, and regulatory sandboxes for compliant machine learning adoption. So in conclusion, the synthesis of recent review studies demonstrate that the next generation of healthcare optimization hinges on multifaceted approach that intelligently integrates advanced technologies and data-driven strategies. The methodologies explored secure multi-party computation, homomorphic encryption, hybrid machine learning models like CCRBMWO and quantitative data-driven frameworks. So it signals a paradigm shift away from a shift away from the reactive problem solving method towards privacy preserving and contextual aware optimization. Thank you.
Hi everyone, good day. My name is Abdurafi Zafa and I am a 300 level student of Veritas University Abuja, the Department of Software Engineering. Today I'll be presenting a 10 paper under a course requirement titled SCN 304 and the title of my 10 paper is Improving Stakeholder Communication in Complex Projects. Before I start, I would like us to look at some critical communication challenge in this domain. The first one is project failure statistics. 56% of project failures attributed to inefficient stakeholder communication. Single most significant risk factor in complex project environments. Communication challenges intensified by COVID-19 digital transformation. The modern reality is clear. Expanding stakeholder consideration is yet to be implemented, and this has also increased the number and complexity of stakeholder relationships. And we could also see that there's multidimensional communication challenge beyond technical information. And there's also a growing emphasis on psychological factors and cultural differences amongst the different stakeholders in the organizations and the project as a whole. The problem statement is very clear. It's a dual challenge. The first challenge here is the increasing complexity. As we all know, multiple stakeholders lead to multiple diverse interests, and we have to take that into consideration. Though this is actually a problem, and we also have to take note the geographic distribution and cultural diversity. Traditional communication approaches prove inadequate. Unlike some stakeholders who are modern or who are Gen Z like, who have information of the updated trends going on in the industry, others still prefer the traditional approach, and as we've seen so far, it's not efficient. And the multidimensional communication requirement. The second challenge is information management. Information overload, exponential increase in volume and variety. Most stakeholders don't like bulk information. They like you just going straight to the point instead of you loading them with big books or documents with information. Technological fragmentation, disconnected communication tools. At times, stakeholders don't rely on one platform, and if information is being shared across a platform, there's a disconnected communication amongst the information being spread across. Methodology gaps, treating communication as procedural rather than strategic. So, communication should not be procedural, a step by step process. It should be strategic and only brought when necessary. Measurement difficulties, lack of meaningful and effective metrics for measuring communication impacts and how it works best with stakeholders, and allows you to iterate through the different communication strategies you are using and improve on them. Now we look at the research objectives and significance. Primary objectives are identify and analyze key barriers to effective stakeholder communication, evaluate contemporary approach and methodology across industries, examine interrelationships between technological, cultural, and leadership factors, develop assessment framework for communication maturity, formulate actionable recommendations for practitioners and organizations. The research significance is very clear. Evidence-based insights for project practitioners, competitive advantages development for organizations, academic contribution to stakeholder theory, educational curriculum enhancements. Literature review. My literature review identified that from transmission to engagement, traditional model, which is the linear information distribution, and the modern approach, dialogue, co-creation, shared meaning making, 34% higher stakeholder certification with engagement-based approaches, 28% fewer requirement-related issues. And we could also see that the modern approach of communication was more engaging and increased communication among stakeholders. The complexity theory applications, complex adaptive system perspective, emergent behaviors and non-linear relationship, need for adaptive rather than linear communication approach, relational ontology of stakeholder communication. Technology advances in project communication. Five key technological categories I was able to identify in this 10 paper was the first one was information visualization. Digital twins, interactive 3D models. If we're able to digitalize information in better ways that the stakeholders could easily relate to using visualization metrics or um, element, it's going to improve communication strategies. Collaborative workspaces. Instead of having diversified communication spaces across various stakeholders, we could have a centric hub that is integrated in depth into the communication platform and give room for every single stakeholder to communicate there. Automated communication, AI driven routine. As well, the AI is literally the new evolving tech in the industry, and it's going to help us drive the routine across communication efforts. Reality augmentation, AR and VR for stakeholder engagement. Communication analytics, data-driven communication analysis. The proven results from these five key technology criteria were: first, digital twins, 43% reduction in stakeholder misunderstandings; AI augmented communication, 31% higher stakeholder satisfaction; 67% improved comprehension with interactive 3D visualizations. Let's now look at the barriers to effective communication in stakeholder communication in the complex environment. The first barrier is complexity factors. Social complexity has strongest negative correlation with communication effectiveness. Projects with high social complexity experience 3 plus 2% more communication failures. Nonlinear project progression disrupt traditional communication planning. The second barrier is organization and cognitive barriers. Organization silos, 43% more communication delays in cross-functional projects. Information holding, 62% of critical information shared only when requested. Cognitive barriers, confirmation bias and framing effects significantly impact interpretation. Attention scarcity. Stakeholders receive 4.7x more information than they can process, which is not literally not necessary. And now, technology related challenges. Now, we talked about earlier the five key technology categories. Now, we're going to talk about the critical technology categories and their challenges. One, accessibility issues, unequal access to communication tools. Some stakeholders don't know how to use some communication tools. Integration failures, disconnected system creating information silos. This leads to increased failures in terms of integration. Competency gaps, insufficient training and adaptation support. If you are bringing a new technology or integrating a new tool, all stakeholders should be aware and be able to use that tool, and it's going to reduce the complexity gaps. Security constraints, compliance requirements limiting tool usage. Some stakeholders are scared that if they're using a particular tool, there might be security breaches and they might not want to adopt that. Adoption resistance, just like I said below. Cultural resistance, some stakeholders aren't familiar with some tools, so you have to implement training or adaptation support to let them get familiarized with the tool they are using. Key findings: 78% of organizations face significant barriers in at least three categories. Integration failures rated most pervasive problem. Virtual communication shows 31% less retention for complex information. If we now look at the improvement strategies, technology, and methodology, we'll see that in the integrated technology system, five interconnected layers were required, which is one, information management; two, visualization; three, collaboration; four, integration; and the fifth, intelligence. And this is very, very critical in improving strategies for technology and methodology adaptation. And this also led to 47% higher stakeholder satisfaction with layered approach and 38% faster issue resolution. The structured methodology followed a very, very simplified pipeline where first we consider the stakeholder communication canvas, a 9-step framework, and this led to 41% reduction in stakeholder related project disruptions. Audience centered design, 53% increase in stakeholder responsiveness. Communication governance, 36% fewer communication conflicts. Cultural and behavioral approach. The cultural intelligence framework is very straightforward. Three core capabilities: cultural knowledge, mindfulness, and adaptation. 51% higher stakeholder certification across cultural boundaries, critical for global and cross-sector projects. Psychological safety and narratives. Higher psychological safety teams identify 3.1% more potential issues. Strategic narrative increased stakeholder commitment by 44%. There's 7% reduction in resistance compared to facts-based communication alone. Leadership styles impact. Collaborative leadership, 37% higher communications, effective effective in high uncertainty environment. Implementation framework was very straightforward. In terms of communication maturity assessment, 5-level maturity model with 23 assessment dimensions. Only 77% of organizations operate at highest maturity level. Assessment-based improvement plans achieve 2.7x greater enhancement. Project type tailoring. Communication strategies aligned with project type achievement, 52% higher certification, complexity versus novelty matrix for strategy selection, stakeholder diversity, index guides communication approach customization. If we now look at the measurement and return of investment, we would see that for multi-level measurement framework, process metrics, output metrics, outcome metrics, impact metrics improve the overall communication gap within stakeholders in the project. And the leading indicators were declining response rates, increasing classification requests, growing decision latency. And if we also look at the predict communication failures and 4 to 6 weeks in advance. The ROI quantification was that four benefit categories: risk reduction, rework avoidance, decision acceleration, and opportunity capturing. 47% higher executive support with quantified ROI approaches. Case studies highlight infrastructure mega projects. Singapore Transport Authority digital twin platform, 38% reduction in stakeholder conflict, 42% faster approval process, digital transformation. Global financial services such as the Cascade Plus network model, 47% higher employee understanding, 29% lower resistance to change. And if we're now looking at the cross-sector partnership, we'll see that European urban infrastructure narrative-based approach, 56% reduction in cross-sector misalignments, and pandemic response alliance, the PRA, 62% reduction in coordination delays. These are just a few of the works in the 10 paper. And from my findings, I was able to see that critical success factors were integrated approaches across technology, methodology, culture, and leadership, stakeholder-centered design rather than project information focus, cultural intelligence for diverse stakeholders communication, adaptive methodology that maintains structure while enabling flexibility. And I also saw that in terms of the transformation requirements, we're able to move from linear transformation to multidimensional engagement, and also for to address systematic barriers through organization change, implement balanced measurement across multi levels, develop boundaries spanning capabilities for complex stakeholder landscape, recommendation and future directions. For practitioners, develop integrated communication strategies across the four key dimensions: adopt, implement, invest, and establish. For organizations, assess communication maturity using structural frameworks such as develop, invest, apply. And for future research directions, we also have to consider the longitudinal studies of communication evolution, AI applications in stakeholder communication, cross-disciplinary integration, sustainability, and ethical considerations in stakeholder communication. And that summarizes the entire 10 paper. And I do hope
Good afternoon. My name is Greg Zira and a student of Software Engineering, Veritas University, Abuja. I'll be talking on a term paper titled Managing Online Learning Platform Development Project. So online learning isn't just a trend anymore, yeah. It's how most of students of nowadays get their jobs, learn new skills online, and also to learn some subjects that have been taught in both secondary, primary, and also higher institution like the university. Well, teachers want a platform that's very easy to use so that it can help students to learn, and then it's left for developers now to take up that task and develop a project or a system that analyzes learning and then makes it suitable for students and also teachers in order to teach the students with ease, and also they can get to understand what the teacher is teaching them. Well, it's going to be a tough balance in that case, but there are many teams that use different flexible projects to manage this online learning platform, and then it has been helping in the past time, and then but then obviously there will still be some challenges, and then we still have to look for solutions for those problems. So some of the challenges now in the online learning platform development, we have technical challenges, project management challenges, stakeholder challenges, user experience and adoption challenges, and then we have the regulatory or and compliance challenges. Well, some of the technical challenges are like scalability, performance, because scalability now refers to how the system can be able to adapt or to adapt to different increase in workload. The more task that is being given, it's able to adapt to it and still work properly, so that learning can be made easier for both the teachers and the students. Second technical challenge, you have integration with existing system, security and data privacy. Yeah, this has to do with the security and the privacy part of some of this software, because having this software is not just meant for only the learning aspect, because yeah, people will have to log in and then stuff like that, their data will be inside this software. So you have to make it secure for the users, the teachers, and also students. Their biodata should not be vulnerable. Technical technological stack selection, that's choosing the right technology stack, databases, frameworks, and the right language for that particular system, because different languages works in different aspects and different ways. So some of the project management challenges, which is another challenge in online learning platform, is methodology selection. This has to do with choosing the right project management methodology, which is very crucial for success in developing online platforms or systems. Yeah. Coordination amongst team members, yeah, is very necessary, because it has to do with them coming together, putting their efforts together, and creating a very suitable online platform for both students and teachers. Stakeholder challenges like conflicting priorities, communication gaps, feedback management are also some challenges in online learning platform. User experience and adoption challenges too, like the diverse user needs, accessibility, compliance, training and support. Yeah, because it's also a challenge. Regulatory and compliance challenges, data protection laws, and so on and so forth. Well, these are some of the challenges that are in online learning platform. Some of the solutions, some of the solutions I have here, and some of the best practices are: the first one we have is technical solutions, which has to do with cloud computing, APIs and standards, DevOps practices. You have to make sure that all these things are in place. Project management strategy is another solution. Getting hybrid methodologies, collaboration tools. You have to get the required tools for developing this online platform, so we don't come up with issues in the later on. And then stakeholder engagement, user-centric approaches, compliance measures, and some of them. Some case studies also are involved. Getting open source community driven development, emphasizing modularity and stakeholder collaboration. All these are solutions that are necessary, because if there are no solutions, then there's no point of creating an online platform that doesn't work, because right from time when they started, yeah, there are problems. Good afternoon, my name is Greg Zira, and a student of software engineering, Veritas University, Abuja. I'll be talking on a term paper titled Managing Online Learning Platform Development Project. So online learning isn't just a trend anymore, yeah. It's how most of students of nowadays get their jobs, learn new skills online, and also to learn some subjects that have been taught in both secondary, primary, and also higher institution like the university. Well, teachers want a platform that's very easy to use so that it can help students to learn, and then it's left for developers now to take up that task and develop a project or a system that analyzes learning and then makes it suitable for students and also teachers in order to teach the students with ease, and also they can get to understand what the teacher is teaching them. Well, it's going to be a tough balance in that case, but there are many teams that use different flexible projects to manage this online learning platform, and then it has been helping in the past time. And then, but then obviously there will still be some challenges, and then we still have to look for solutions for those problems. So some of the challenges now in the online learning platform development, we have technical challenges project management challenges, stakeholder challenges, user experience and adoption challenges, and then we have the regulatory or and compliance challenges. Well, some of the technical challenges are like scalability, performance, because scalability now refers to how the system can be able to adapt or to adapt to different increase in workload. The more task that is being given, it's able to adapt to it and still work properly, so that learning can be made easier for both the teachers and the students. Second technical challenge, you have integration with existing system, security and data privacy. Yeah, this has to do with the security and the privacy part of some of this software, because having this software is not just meant for only the learning aspect, because people will have to log in and then stuff like that, their data will be inside that this software, so you have to make it secure for the users, the teachers and also students. Their biodata should not be vulnerable. Technological stack selection, that's choosing the right technology stack, databases, frameworks, and the right language for that particular system, because different languages works in different aspects and different ways. So some of the project management challenges, which is another challenge in online learning platform, is methodology selection. This has to do with choosing the right project management methodology, which is very very crucial for success in developing online platforms or systems. Yeah. Coordination amongst team members is very very necessary, because it has to do with them coming together, putting their efforts together and creating a very very suitable online platform for both students and teachers. Stakeholder challenges like conflicting priorities, communication gaps, feedback management are also some challenges in online learning platform. User experience and adoption challenges too, like the diverse user needs, accessibility, compliance, training and support. Because it's also a challenge. Regulatory and compliance challenges, data protection laws, and so on and so forth. Well, these are some of the challenges that are in online learning platform. Some of the solutions, I have here, and some of the best practices are: the first one we have is technical solutions, which has to do with cloud computing, APIs and standards, DevOps practices. You have to make sure that all these things are in place. Project management strategy is another solution. Getting hybrid methodologies, collaboration tools. You have to get the required tools for developing this online platform, so we don't come up with issues in the later on. And then stakeholder engagement, user-centric approaches, compliance measures, and some case studies also are involved. Getting open source community driven development, emphasizing modularity and stakeholder collaboration. All these are solutions that are necessary, because if there are no solutions, then there's no point of creating an online platform that doesn't work, because right from time when they started, there are problems.
Good evening. Good evening. This is a short video about representation on time management in research and development project, also known as R&D. My name is Hilary Onoja Leonard, and I'm excited to walk you through my way of managing time in R&D. It's not just helpful but essential. First of exactly what are R&D projects? R&D stands for research and development. These projects where team works to create new knowledge, develop new product, and ensure and improve existing service or technology. You can find R&D in places like tech companies, pharmaceutical firms, and scientific institutions. But here's the thing: unlike normal projects, R&D is highly uncertain. It involves a lot of experimentation, and error and collaboration across different experts. That makes it complex, dynamic, and hard to predict. Because of this, R&Ds can easily go off track without properly planning and, most importantly, good time management. Now, let's talk about why time management is important. Time management is a limited resource. Once it's gone, you can't get it back. In R&D, poor time management can lead to missed deadlines, wasted money, lost market opportunity, frustrated team, and in worst cases, complete project failure. Think about it. If a company is developing a project and delays by even 3 months, a competitor might release something first and steal the market. So time management in R&D is not just about keeping a schedule, it's about making sure all efforts led all efforts leads to results that matters, delivered at the right time. The most common problem in time management, but managing time in R&D is not easy. There are several challenges that make it difficult. For example, let's say changing project goals. Sometimes new discovery forces teams to change direction. Lack of clear timelines. Many R&D tasks don't actually have a fixed duration. Poor coordination. R&D teams include different specialists, data engineer, and data scientists, and data engineer, scientists, and analysts who may work differently. Unexpected delay, technical failure, slow feedback, or missing data can cause a big disruption, and that will lead to failure in your R&D. No proper time tracking tools. Many teams, many teams, many teams still use outdated methods like emails and spreadsheets. These issues can cause delay, budget overrun, and even lead to abandoned ideas. And this study aims to solve. This study aims to explore how time is managed in R&D projects. What is major time wasting issues? What the major wasting issues are, and how we solve them. To do that, I have why is time so important in R&D? What are the biggest time management challenge? What tools and methods are teams using today, and how can we improve future time management in the future? The goal is to help organizations and project managers manage R&D time more effectively so that good ideas don't go to waste. So, but why this study is important is because, so why does this all matter? Because time management is a key factor in success or failure of any R&D project. If we don't manage time well, we lose opportunities. But if we manage it well, we can speed up innovation, save money, keep team motivation, and bring amazing products and solutions to life faster. This research helps R&D professionals, students, and management understand how to be disciplined with time, even in complex and unpredictable projects. So to wrap it up, R&D is an engine of innovation, but is full of time and related challenges. Time is not just a resource; it's a competitive edge. By learning to manage time, we don't just finish projects; we finish them well and on time and with value. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. I found this. If you found this, thank you for watching. I am Hilary Onoja, and I hope this gives you a clearer picture of the management in R&D.
Hello, my name is Joshua Praise, and we are going to be talking about the summary of waste management and recycling. As cities and industries grow, we are producing more waste than ever, and old ways of dealing with it just doesn't work anymore. But software is stepping in. Waste management isn't just about picking up trash; it's about sorting and recycling it the smart way. Today we have smart bins that send alerts when they are full, AI that helps sort trash faster, and blockchain to track where the waste goes. To make all this work, teams use tools like Jira to plan and stay organized. Of course, there are still challenges like high cost and tech issues, but with the right tools and teamwork, they can be solved. In future, in the future, smart cities will use real-time data, robotics, and AI to recycle more and waste less. Thanks to software, we can build cleaner, greener communities. Software isn't just about helping, it's transforming how we manage waste. So the real question is, are we ready to use code to save the planet? Thank you.
My name is Adrian Ibuna and I'm from 300 Level Software Engineering, and I'm here to talk about my term paper which covers sustainable project management in the construction industry, highlighting its urgent relevance due to the sector's substantial environmental impact, responsible for almost nearly 40% of the world's carbon emissions and extensive resource consumption. First of all, I'll define the key objectives of my term paper, which is to define the fundamental principles, differentiate it from and differentiate it from traditional project management. Examine tools and frameworks that support stability integration. Identify and propose strategies to overcome adoption barriers. Access environmental, social, and economic benefits. All right. The core content overview. My principles are okay. My core content overview. First of all, the principles. It incorporates environmental stewardship, social responsibility, and long-term economic viability throughout the project lifecycle. Practices: green building, energy efficiency, stakeholder engagement, waste management, and digital technology use. And then some of the benefits of implementing these factors are reduced carbon emissions, resource saving, improved life, occupant health, and cost effectiveness over time, and climate resilience. Now, some of the challenges that this practice may face may be regulatory inconsistencies, high upfront costs, skill gaps, cultural resistance, and fragmented project processes. And then the case study used are real world examples from Amsterdam, Seattle, and Lagos to demonstrate the success in this project. And then some of the recommendations gotten include policy incentives, standardization, capacity building, and leveraging innovation such as next gen materials and circular economy models. In conclusion, this paper concludes this paper concludes that adopting sustainable project management (SPM) is critical to transforming the construction industry. It provides a viable path towards meeting climate goals while delivering long-term value. However, coordinated action from policymakers, educators, and industry stakeholders is needed to overcome institutional and cultural hurdles. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Aldo David. I'm a 300 level software engineering student, and I'm here to do a summary of my project titled Risk Management Education System Reform (SN304). Education reforms are essential in modernizing learning, and they also come with significant risks. And if these risks are not managed, can cause failure, waste resources, or harm stakeholders. The purpose of my research is to emphasize on the importance of risk management in education reforms, show how software engineering principles help manage risk, learn from real-world success and field cases, recommend effective strategy for risk migration. Key risks in education reforms include technological risks, which include software bugs, system crash, and cyber attacks. Education organization risk, which includes poor leadership, weak coordination. Human risks, which involves resistance from teachers or users. Financial risks, which include lack of funding, lead to abandoned projects. Legal and political risks, which include data privacy law, policy and changes. Cultural risks include resistance to digital education in some communication. How software engineering helps. It helps through agile methodology, helps in risk assessment tools, predicts problem early, and then pilot testing avoids full-scale failure. Now, some of the recommendations I will suggest to these are early risk assessments, stakeholder training, continuous monitoring, strong infrastructure, legal compliance, collaboration, and pilot programs. In conclusion, successful education reform depends on proactive risk management, combining policy insights with software engineering tools. With the right strategy, reforms can improve learning, increase access, and remain sustainable. Thank you so much.
Dr. Anayo, my name is Korede Adil Bamshai and I'm a 300 level software engineering student. This video is to summarize my term paper of term 304, which is titled Sustainable Construction Practices and Project Management. This research explores how sustainability principles can be effectively integrated into construction projects through modern project management. The construction industry in general plays a key role in economic development, but it also contributes heavily to environmental degradation. Through high energy consumption, resource use, and pollution, this study addresses how sustainable construction, which focuses on eco-friendly materials, energy efficiency, and reduced waste, can be combined with project management techniques to ensure environmentally responsible building practices. The objectives of this term paper were to identify sustainable practices that reduce environmental impact, explore how project management can help apply these practices, and examine challenges in developing countries like Nigeria, and to highlight benefits of sustainability in construction. The concept the concept sustainable construction follows the principles such as resource efficiency, environmental protection, economic viability, lifestyle thinking, and using green technologies like solar panel and smart HVAC. Sorry. Project management plays a vital role by integrating sustainability into phase planning, execution, and monitoring and closure, like for using tools like BIM, stakeholder engagement, and risk management focused on sustainability. For case studies, I examined successful green buildings like the Bullitt Center in USA that uses net zero energy, the Eastgate Center in Zimbabwe that uses natural ventilation, the Makoko Floating School in Nigeria that is a community driven innovation. So I recommend government incentives like the Makoko Floating School and policy reform, professional training, integration of sustainability in education, public awareness campaigns. All this will help create sustainable building constructions. Now, in conclusion, this sustainable construction is not just beneficial, but is absolutely essential. By integrating it into project management, we can build infrastructure that meets today's needs without compromising tomorrow. This research hopes to influence policies, policies, and future innovations toward a greener construction industry. Thank you very much.
Good day. My name is Emmanuel Nalego and my matric number is VUG 727171. And my topic is managing supplier relationship in global projects. So supplier supplier relationship management can be described as a supply chain microprocess in the firm. Although agreement exists in the supply chain management literature that supplier relationship management is a supply chain microprocess, there are disagreements about the total number of these supply chain microprocess. Corpora and Mendel describes the three supply chain process microprocess. Number one is customer relationship management, internal supply chain management, and SRM as depicted figure 2. These three microprocesses are responsible for managing the flow of product, information, and funds between a firm, the supplier, and end customer. Many global engineering firms are faced with an increased need to build closer relationships with their suppliers. By implementing supplier relationship management, global engineering firms obtain benefits beyond efficiency gains. While these firms' productions and engineering processes are mature and have developed into advanced engineering and production networks, the relationship strategies have often stayed localized. This leaves engineering firms with a mix of advanced global production and engineering networks and developed local supply networks. For this reason, global engineering firms wish to globalize their supply chain using a centralized sourcing strategy. The research presented in the PhD thesis is a response to call for advancing and manufacturing supply relationship management. Okay, thank you. Good day.
My name is David Sasson Elisha. My chip number VUG 240. I'm presenting the topic, the 10 paper, financing strategies for international ventures. So this paper discusses the strategic implications and the capability to become involved in financial or commercial projects in international ventures overseas. So the definition of project finance, the definition of project finance refers to the long-term financing of infrastructure, industrial projects based on the projected cash flows of the project rather than balance sheets of its sponsors. The key strategies in financing international projects are the use of special purpose vehicles, SPVs. SPV is a legally independent entity formed to isolate financial risk. Another way of financing international projects is equity and debt structure. So in international project financing, there is something called risk mitigation. Cross-border projects face a elevated level of risk, necessitating robust risk management mechanisms. So to combat this, people usually use political risk insurance. They also use currency and interest rate hedging and legal and regulatory risk management. That will be all for my presentation.
Good day, everyone. My name is Eke Johnson. I'm talking about financial report management and managing financial risks in investment projects. Managing financial risks in investment projects. Managing financial risks is an essential part of any investment project that you can think of. Every project, no matter the size or the industry, it carries some level of financial risk, whether it's due to market volatility, credit issue, liquidity problems, or operational setbacks. These risks can seriously affect the financial health of a project, making it critical to understand how it identifies and manage them effectively. Understanding financial risks in investment projects. Financial risk refers to the likelihood of losing money or encountering financial difficulties due to various unpredictable events or market conditions. It can arise from a factor such as fluctuation in the market interest rate, exchange rate, credit default, liquidity shortage, or operational failures. Financial risks affect individual business and government and management. It is essential for ensuring stability and profitability in investment and financial decisions. Well, I just try to define the financial risks and then types of financial risks that we have. There are market risks, credit risks, liquidity risks, operational risks, and so on. Sources of financial risks in projects. There are different sources of financial risks in projects, but I'll list a few, like market conditions, and then credit worthiness of stakeholders, regulatory or legal actions, project management factors, funding and liquidity risks. Approach to managing financial risk in investment, like risk identification, risk assessment and qualification, risk mitigation strategies, monitoring and control measures, and then risk identification, just like I said earlier. You can also involve in such other approaches like assessment and quantification of risks. They are also part of approach to managing financial investment. Risk mitigation, I just want to some kind of things that will involve in assessing our risk investment and all that. Avoidance, it involves altering project plan or approach to eliminate specific financial risks altogether. Some other approaches to investment: monitoring and control measures, like I said earlier. And then financial risks that are faced. System integration problem. A major challenge emerged from the need of integration 3 different signaling systems across the new and existing section of the railway. These tasks prove far more complex than initially said earlier. And then financial risks that are faced. System integration problem. A major challenge emerged from the need of integration. Three different signaling systems across the new and existing section of the railway. These tasks prove far more complex than initially estimated, required extensive rework. In investments, whichever way you are trying to invest, whichever thing you are trying to invest, financial is like a financial risk, and then what you face in it like system integration problem, underestimating of technical complexity, governance and transparency, inflation and contractual disputes. These are one or two things that you'll be expecting during the process of your risks and investments. And then we have other things like external support and restructuring, rebaselining and planning. All these are part of the things you will come across while trying to manage your risks. The challenges you face in financial risk management: uncertainty in incomplete data, regulatory and economic changes, human and technical factors, and there are a lot more that I can still mention. But briefly before we go, I would like to come to the conclusion. In conclusion, financial risk management is a vital component of every investment project, regardless of its size or scope. This work has outlined the major types of sources of financial risk, such as market volatility, credit uncertainty, and operational challenges, while emphasizing on the importance of identifying, assessing, and mitigating the risks throughout this period. Best practice include early risk identification throughout assessment using reliable data. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Anyiwe Chiremezekina and I'm here to give a brief presentation on my term paper titled Implementation of Risk Management Strategies in Supply Chain Projects. In this presentation, I'll be covering the background of the topic, the main objectives of the study, key findings, and recommendations for improving risk management in supply chains. Supply chains are the system that help move goods and essentially materials from manufacturers to customers. They are essential to global trade, but they are also exposed to many risks from supplier delays to natural disasters, political unrest, and even cyber attacks. In today's fast changing world, disruptions like the COVID 19 pandemic and the Suez Canal blockage have shown just how vulnerable these attacks can be. That's why managing risk in supply chain projects is more important than ever. My research looked at how organizations can better identify, assess, and manage the risk to avoid delays, reduce costs, and deliver results more reliably. The research objectives for this paper are um, one, to identify common risks that affect supply chain projects, to evaluate current risk management strategies are, to explore how technology helps in reducing risk, and to suggest better practices that organizations can adopt. This study is based on four theories. We have the risk management theory, which promotes a proactive approach to identifying and responding to potential threats. We also have system theories, which see supply chains as interconnected systems where a disruption in one part can affect the whole chain. We have supply chain resilience theory, which emphasizes being flexible, adaptive, and able to recover quickly from disruptions. Then the contingency theory, which reminds us there is no one size fits solution. Each company must tailor its strategies to fit specific needs. The key findings from this research are: the most common risks include equipment breakdown, financial losses, political unrest, and data breaches. Successful companies use strategies like suppliers, diversification, real time tracking, predictive analysis, and flexible sourcing. Um, Technology plays a big role. to tools like blockchain, AI, and Internet of Things and make it easier to detect issues and respond quickly. However, challenges still exist, especially for small businesses who may lack funds to adopt advanced tools. One of the major issues is that companies still focus too much on short term savings instead of long term resilience. That makes them more vulnerable when something goes wrong. In conclusion, to build more resilient supply chains, I recommend that the companies integrate risk management into every stage of the project, invest in training and awareness for their staff, use digital tools to increase visibility and forecasting accuracy, collaborate more closely with suppliers and logistic partners, and finally, shift their mindset before reacting to the risk and preparing them ahead of time. By doing these things, organizations can not only survive disruptions, they can also come out stronger on the other side. So basically, what it's trying to say is these are like steps or procedures that are taken into consideration to like reduce the risk in supply, also manage like the supply. Then, in closing, in summary, risk management is not just about avoiding problems. It's also about building systems that can adapt, recover, and grow stronger in the face of uncertainty. Um, Also, I also like to add that the risk management is also about making sure that the um, the supply chains or the goods that are being moved and the materials that are being moved to the customers are moved like in like safe and sound, and the products that are being distributed will be distributed well and evenly, and there won't be any problem or issue in regards to the delivery of products and goods that are reaching the consumers and customers. Thank you for watching, and I hope this presentation gives you a better understanding of how we can make supply chains more reliable and secure.
Good day, Dr. Anayo. My name is Tachiroga Solomon. My matric number is VUJSN 227553. The course title of this course is Software Engineering Product Management. The course code is N304, and my topic is Risk Management in Software Engineering. Large scale projects, whether in IT, construction, or engineering, come with high complexity, large budget, and multiple stakeholders. These factors make them highly vulnerable to risk from budget, overrun to scope, and regulatory issues. The key strategies involved in risk management strategy are risk identification. This is the foundation of risk management strategies, whereby team must identify potential risk early using tools like brainstorming checklists and historical data. Second is risk assessment. Once the risk identified, they should be prioritized based on likelihood and impact. A common tool here is the risk matrix, which helps visualize which risk needs urgent attention. Third is risk mitigation. This involves developing actions in plan to reduce the likelihood for impacts of high priority risk. For example, adopting modular designs can reduce technical risk in software or construction projects. Risk transfer. Transferring risk means shifting responsibilities, often through insurance or contracts. For example, obscuring a volatile component to specialist vendor can reduce internal exposure. Risk monitoring and communication, which is the fifth. Risk management isn't one and done team. Isn't one and done. Teams must track risk continuously, update registers, and ensure transparent communication with stakeholders throughout the project lifecycle. The tools and technique used in risk management. Common tools used in large-scale projects include SWOT analysis, PERT and NAT charts, risk registers. These tools help in forecasting schedules and tracking risk over time. In conclusion, To succeed in large scale projects, organizations must shift from being reactive to proactive about risk. By combining structured method which with open communication, we can manage uncertainty and deliver projects on time, on budget and on target. Thank you for listening.
Good day, good day, Dr. Nayo. My name is Akumi Zion. My magic number is VUG 227238. The course code is 304, while the course title is Software Engineering Project Management. My topic is Managing Renewable Energy Projects, Challenges and Solutions. Now, climate change is no longer a distant threat and the reality that demands urgent actions. One of the most promising responses is the global shift towards renewable energy like solar, wind, hydro, and power. But here's the problem: renewable energy projects are very hard to maintain and complex to design. They require significant investment, involve advanced technology, and must meet environmental and social standards. Without effective project management, these efforts can easily fail, costing money, time, and public trust. Here are the core challenges we face. First are regulation, regulations and technical issues. Projects often get stuck due to unclear or shifting government policies. Permits can take months, even years, to build. Technically, building in remote areas with unpredictable weather and new technologies adds layer to complexity. Secondly, we face financial, social, and supply chain obstacles. Renewable energy demands high upfront investments from lots of investors. Especially local projects, especially if they weren't included in the planning, and delays in importing materials like turbines and solar panels can scientifically derail timelines, costing more and more, costing much money in the investment. So the main question is, what can we do about this to fix these issues? First of all we need is smarter management strategies, e.g., using agile and hybrid project management approaches, which allows teams to adapt more quickly to problems which may arise. Early risk planning and continuously building prepare us for the unexpected problems. Most importantly, involving stakeholders, especially communities, early in the process helps build trust and reduce opposition. Secondly, we also need to embed sustainability and innovation in every phase. This means applying principles like environmental, social, and governance into the planning stage. And we should use smart tools like GIS for mapping, design, modeling, and IoT devices to monitor progress in real time. These innovations right here will reduce waste, save time, and improve accountability. Now, here are some real world events that have to do with managing renewable energy. In Kenya, the Lake the Lake Toraka wind power project overcame local resistance and logistically issues by investing in access roads and engaging the community. While in Australia, the power reserve, famous for the Tesla battery, was delivered ahead of schedule using agile methods and cutting-edge technology. In conclusion, renewable energy projects are vital for our sustainable future, but managing them is just as important as building them. For thinking sustainably, acting adaptively, and leading collaboratively, we can make sure difference can no longer can, can make sure progress not only succeed but thrive. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Anayo. My name is Iduko Gideon. My machine number is 7280. My title is Applying Project Management Principles to Influencer Marketing Campaign. So, influencing marketing campaign has been a major strategy in digital marketing, allowing brands to connect with audience through social media influencer. However, despite its popularity and many campaign struggles due to poor planning, vague goals, and mismanagement, the study addresses the core problem. Influencer marketing often lacks the structure and discipline found in traditional project management practices. So, the purpose of this research sets out to explore how project management principles like planning, stakeholder coordination, performance tracking can be applied to influencer campaign more efficient and effective. The main objective are to understand how project management can structure campaigns, identify suitable methodologies like agile or waterfall, examine common challenges, and evaluate the impact of structured approach. To answer this question, the study uses a qualitative literature review analyzing existing research, industry reports, and case studies such as Sephara's campaign to draw insights. It finds that integrating project management into influencer marketing helps with task coordination, resource allocation, and measuring success more accurately. Key phases like campaign planning, influencer selection, content execution, and post-campaign evaluation all benefit from structured tools and processes. Tools such as Terol, Asana, Hootsuite are highlighted as valuable for managing tasks and tracking campaign purposes. The study also outlines challenges such as brand influence misalignment, poor ROI measurement, and coordination difficulties, especially where multiple influencers are involved. To manage these issues, it's recommended using project tools, establish clear protocols, and applying risk management techniques. While the study provides useful insight, it notes some limitations. It based on secondary data and may not reflect real-time shift in fast-changing digital marketing world. Still, it offers a solid foundation for brands to bridge the gap between market creativity and structured execution. Thank you.
Hi everyone, welcome to my brief overview on my term paper on developing a project management office or PMO for organizational success. In today's business world, where efficiency, consistency, and strategic alignment are more important than ever, a well structured PMO can be a game changer. Let's start with the basics. A project management office is a centralized unit within an organization that defines and maintains project management standards and practices. It doesn't just monitor projects, it provides governance, ensures alignment with business goals, and supports project managers and teams with tools, training, and guidance. So, why do organizations need a PMO? First, it helps improve project success. Secondly, it applies standard processes. It ensures resource optimizations, better budgeting, and timeline management. And lastly, it enhances communication and visibility across projects. PMOs are not one size that fits all. There are three main types of PMOs: supporting PMOs, controlling PMOs, and finally directive PMOs. Supporting PMOs, which provide templates, best practices, and training, while controlling PMOs, which enforces compliance with standards and methodologies. Which directive PMOs, which directly manage projects and allocate resources. My paper outlines 5 key steps to successfully developing a PMO. So the 5 key steps to successfully develop a PMO: number one, we have assessment. Understand current project management practices and gaps. Number two, we have planning. Define the PMO structure, goals, and scope. Number three, we have design. Establish processes, tools, and reporting structures. Number four, we have implementation. Roll out the PMO in phases, starting with pilot projects. Number five, we have continuous improvements. Regularly review and evolve based on feedback and performance metrics. So from what I said, we have five. Number one, we have assessment, which is the first part, the first type. Number two, we have planning. Number three, we have design. And number four, implementation. Number five, we have continuous improvement. Challenges and solutions. Of course, developing a PMO isn't without challenges, such as resistance to change, lack of executive support, or unclear objectives. So, to most of the challenges that we face when developing a PMO, number one, we have resistance to change, meaning that when you change your lack of executive support and unclear objectives, when you don't you don't have executive support, they overcome through strong. It can help. It's works as a challenge also, but this can over the solution to these problems is it can be overcome through strong leadership, clear communication, and involving stakeholders.
Good evening, Dr. Anayo. My name is Temilo David Yukon, matric number 7495. This is 304 Software Engineering Project Management. So my topic today is telemedicine project management in Nigeria, challenges and solutions. First of all, telemedicine refers to the use of information and communication technologies to deliver healthcare services remotely. In recent years, especially during and after the COVID-19 pandemic, telemedicine has gained more attention globally and in Nigeria. It provides a solution for people who live in remote or undeserved areas to consult with doctors, access prescriptions, and even follow up care without needing to travel long distances. However, while the idea of telemedicine is promising, managing such projects successfully in Nigeria faces several obstacles. These include infrastructural problems, limited digital skills, legal gaps, and even cultural resistance. So, in this presentation, I will highlight these major challenges and share some of the practical solutions I think would help. The first challenge is the infrastructure challenge. So, one of the biggest hurdles is poor infrastructure. Many rural areas in Nigeria do not have stable electricity, good internet service, or strong mobile network coverage. This makes it hard for health workers to conduct video calls or access online patient data. Without stable internet or power, it's almost impossible to rely on digital health platforms. Imagine a consultation dropping midway because of poor network or no power. So this affects the quality and trust of telemedicine as a whole. Number one problem is digital literacy and training. Another issue is that not everyone knows how to use digital tools effectively. Some health professionals are not well trained in using telemedicine software or managing electronic patient records. On the other hand, many patients, especially the elderly or those in rural communities, might not even own smartphones or they struggle with basic apps. So, without digital literacy on both sides, telemedicine platforms won't be used to their full potential. Number one, the third problem, regulatory and legal uncertainty. So in Nigeria, we don't have clear laws and policies that govern telemedicine. So the questions are: is a doctor licensed to treat a patient in another state using this online platform? What happens if there is a misdiagnosis through a video consultation? How do we protect patient data? So the lack of this specific legal guidelines makes it risky and confusing for hospitals, startups, and professionals to fully commit to telemedicine projects. Cultural and social resistance. In some parts of Nigeria, people are more comfortable with traditional medicine or in-person consultations. They may not trust remote healthcare or they feel like it lacks the human touch. Also, in some conservative communities, women may need permission to use such services as the men don't feel comfortable with them speaking to male doctors. So these cultural factors need to be respected and addressed in any telemedicine rollout. So what are my solutions? Here I have four solutions I think can help telemedicine in Nigeria. So first, the government and private sectors should invest in improving network coverage and electricity supply, especially in these rural areas. Secondly, health workers need proper training in telemedicine tools. Patients too should be educated through awareness campaigns and simple digital guides. Thirdly, in Nigeria, we must develop clear policies that regulate telemedicine. This should include licensing, data protection, and ethical responsibilities. Finally, telemedicine services must be designed with local cultures in mind. That means using local languages, respecting gender norms, and involving community leaders to gain trust. So, in conclusion, telemedicine has the potential to change the face of healthcare delivery in Nigeria, especially for people who live in rural and hard to reach communities. But, like every good innovation, it comes with challenges. This includes poor infrastructure, lack of digital skills, weak legal systems, and cultural resistance. However, with the right planning, investment, training, and inclusive policies, we can overcome these challenges. Telemedicine is not just a short term fix, it's a long term opportunity to make quality healthcare more accessible to millions of Nigeria. Thank you very much for your attention, sir.
Good day, Dr. Nayo. My name is Ezeki Kinsley Chinedu, matric number 8449. Today I'll be talking about two of the most widely used software development methodologies, Agile and Waterfall. We'll explore what they are, how they differ, and how to choose the right one for your IT projects. When managing IT projects, choosing the right development model is crucial. It can affect timelines, quality, and customer satisfaction. Let's compare Agile and Waterfall and see where each one of them shines. Waterfall is a traditional project. It's linear, meaning each phase is completed before the next one begins. Once you move on, it's hard to go back. It works best when requirements are well defined from the start. Agile is flexible and adaptive. It uses short development cycles called sprints, allowing continuous feedback and frequent delivery of functional software. It's ideal for projects where requirements may change or evolve over time. Key differences. Here are quick comparison. Waterfall is structured and predictable, while Agile is flexible and fast moving. Agile involves the customer throughout, where Waterfall only involves them at the start and end. Agile also promotes continuous testing and delivery. When to use Waterfall? Waterfall is best for projects with clear fixed requirements like government systems, hardware development, or regulated industries. It works well when you're building something with no room for mid-course correction. When to use Agile? Agile works best when change is expected. If you're building a mobile app or a web platform and need repair irritations and regular feedback, Agile is the way to go. It keeps user in the loop and allows for fast adaptation. For example, NASA or Boeing may use waterfall to ensure rigorous testing before launch. On the other hand, companies like Spotify or Google often use Agile for developing and releasing updates continuously to their products. Choosing the right model. The best model depends on your project. If your clients can give steady feedback and need fast releases, go Agile. If the project is mission critical and needs fixed specs, go waterfall or use a hybrid model for balance. Conclusion. In summary, both models have strengths and weaknesses. The key is to assess your project needs, scope, budget flexibility, and customer involvement, and then decide which approach aligns best. Thank you for your attention.
Ever wondered how Netflix streams 200 million users without crashing, or how Airbnb scales for peak travel seasons? We'll be talking about scalable IT systems for large organizations. In a digital first world, scalability isn't an option, it's survival. Imagine during Black Friday sales or vaccine booking portals. Without scalability, there'll be crashes, loss of revenue, and angry users. So, we now have different pillars of scalable systems. Number one is modular architecture. This is basically breaking monoliths into microservices like Lego blocks. Netflix did this, cutting deploy time from hours to seconds. Another is elasticity. Cloud auto scaling adds resources during spikes. Like an example is this Black Friday. Think of Uber scaling for a rush hour. Yeah. And then there's data, shared databases like Instagram, splitting basically 300 million users across partitions. Okay, automation is key in this system, in this approach to DevOps pipeline. Automation is key. DevOps tools like Jenkins deploy code 100 times faster, and resilience, chaos engineering breaks systems on purpose, so just for testing, so real failures don't. A case study would be Capital One runs its entire serverless um, computation on AWS Lambda, proving even banks can innovate. Well, nowadays, 80% of enterprises use hybrid cloud. Tech alone isn't enough. Breaking silos like Spotify squads governs auto scale down at night. Adobe saved $1 million per month doing this. Airbnb scales globally using Kubernetes. Capital One's cloud shift cuts compliance audits from months to minutes. Tomorrow, AI-driven scaling and edge computing could be the next best thing, or probably is the next best thing. Or currently is what is
being innovative in the whole IT scalability field. Mm. So start small, containerize one app, train teams, partner with cloud vendors ready to scale. These are basically the approaches to ensure scalable um, systems for large organizations.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Tinko Omobolafino, reg number 8173, and this is my presentation on my term paper titled Innovation Product Management from Concepts to Market. Innovation is essential for business growth and survival, but turning a new idea into a usable product is not easy. This is where innovation product management comes in, which helps organizations manage creativity with structure. Innovation is about creating value through new ideas, products, and processes. It involves uncertainty, risk, and experimentation, but with the use of data-driven innovation and AI tools, we can manage, we can make smarter decisions while managing that uncertainty. Now, the stages of innovation product management. First of all is the ideation. Here we can use generative AI tools to help teams brainstorm faster and come up with more creative ideas. Then feasibility. Here you analyze trends, risks, and projections to validate viable ideas. Then design and development. Agile methods and AI tools can help streamline development and collaboration within the team. Testing and validation. Predictive analytics and automation help identify issues quickly. Commercialization. AI and blockchain can help optimize marketing, pricing, and secure product launch. Some of the key methodologies used here are agile and hybrid models. Now, combining the flexibility of the agile models with other models can help with long-term planning. Design thinking, empathizing with users to create more user-centered solutions. And lean startup. This comprises of rapid prototyping to get faster customer feedback. Now, these allow teams to stay adaptive, efficient, and innovative. Then, some of the technological integrations in innovation product management are AI and machine learning. They help automate tasks, predict risks, and support decision making. Blockchain helps to bring transparency, trust, especially in supply chain and contracts. Then there are collaboration tools like Jira that can be used to boost collaboration within the team. Some of the challenges here are the technological integration because it can be complex and costly and not everybody can be carried along. Then there are also the resource constraints as measured before, which require careful prioritization, distribution rather. Then change management is critical because not everybody in the team can be able to deal with such a change. This is why organizations must invest in training, communication, and leadership skills to overcome these issues. Now, some successful innovation products have four things in common. First of all is the strategic alignment with the goals of the company you're working with. Then leadership support that encourages risk-taking, cross-functional collaboration for diverse perspectives, and a culture of continuous learning and adaptability. Now, to conclude, innovation product management is about bringing creativity and execution with the help of AI, agile practices, collaborative tools. Some of today's organizations are better equipped than ever to turn ideas into impactful solutions. The key is not just having innovative ideas, but managing them effectively from concept to market. Thank you.
Is electronic healthcare record EHR. So an electronic healthcare record is an integrated system used by the healthcare organization to collect, manage, and share patient health information electronically. Unlike the electronic medical records, the EMRs, which are limited to individual practices. The EHR, that's the electronic healthcare record, are designed for interoperability. The healthcare industry has undergone a technological revolution with the advent of electronic health systems. The systems serve as a repository for storing patients' health information, facilitating real-time access, thereby enhancing patient care. This particular paper aims to discuss the implications of EHR implementation, highlight the technical and operational requirements, and provide a roadmap for successful system adoption around an evolution of EHR. The concept of electronically storing health information dates back to the 1960s when large institutions such as Mayo Clinic began experimenting with computer-based patient records. However, it wasn't until the 20th and 21st centuries that the EHR gained broader attention, driven by advances in computing power and a monitoring realization that fragmented paper records hindered the quality and continuity of care. The 2009 Information Technology for Economic and Clinical Health (HITECH) Act in the United States marked a turning point, incentivizing healthcare providers to adopt certified EHR technologies through the Meaningful Use Program. Similar initiatives emerged globally, recognizing the importance of health information digitalization in achieving the triple aim: improving the patient's experience, enhancing population health, and reducing costs. The legislative push spurred a wave of digital transformation, but also underscored the complexities internet in moving to electronic system. Implementation meant more than just replacing paper. It required rethinking workflows, training personnel, establishing new data governance policies, and integrating dispersed systems. The transition, while necessary, proved challenging and exposed critical issues related to usability, data. Importance of EHR implementation. Number one, improved quality of care. So the EHR supports evidence-based practice by providing timely access to patient records, history, test results, and decision support tools. So it reduces duplication of tests, streamlines diagnosis, and ensures continuity of care. Number two, you have data analysis and research. The EHR supports large-scale data collection, enhancing health systems and researchers to identify trends, monitor the outcomes, and then develop public health interventions. Understand the electronic healthcare record system. So the EHR is a digital version of a patient's paper charts designed to be shared across different healthcare settings. So unlike the EMRs, that's the electronic medical turning point, incentivizing healthcare providers to adopt certified EHR technologies through the Meaningful Use Program. Similar initiatives emerge globally, recognizing the importance of health information digitalization in achieving the triple aim: improving the patient's experience, enhancing population health, and reducing costs. The legislative push spurred a wave of digital transformation, but also underscored the complexities internet in moving to electronic system. Implementation meant more than just replacing paper. It required rethinking workflows, training personnel, establishing new data governance policies, and integrating dispersed systems. The transition, while necessary, proved challenging and exposed critical issues related to usability, data. Importance of EHR implementation. Number one, improved quality of care. So the EHR supports evidence-based practice by providing timely access to patient records, history, test results, and decision support tools. So it reduces duplication of tests, streamlines diagnosis, and ensures continuity of care. Number two, you have data analysis and research. The EHR supports large-scale data collection, enhancing health systems and researchers to identify trends, monitor the outcomes, and then develop public health interventions. Understand the electronic healthcare record system. So the EHR is a digital version of a patient's paper chart designed to be shared across different healthcare settings. So unlike the EMRs, that's electronic medical records, which are limited to one provider's office, the EHR, that's electronic healthcare record, are designed for broader access. The EHR includes information such as medical history, diagnosis, treatment plan, immunization dates, allergies, radiology images, and then laboratory test results. So the EHR mostly consists of patients' demographics, medical histories, diagnosis and treatment plans, medication lists, the billing, and then the insurance information. Benefits of the EHR system: so you have improved patient care, enhanced efficiency, better data management and analytics. In conclusion, understanding electronic health record system is crucial for anyone involved in model healthcare, from physicians to nurses to administrators to IT professionals. The EHR represents far more than a technological upgrade. They are the foundation for a smarter, safer, and more connected health system. Their successful implementation can lead to the transformative improvements in care quality, safety, and then efficiency. However, realizing their full potential requires thoughtful planning, continuous improvement, and a commitment to addressing both technological and human factors. As digital health continues to evolve, EHR systems will remain central to unlocking the power of data to improve lives and drive health innovation. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Akablem Emmanuel Ike from the Department of Software Engineering, Veritas University. My third paper is titled Project Management in Remote Work Environments. It explores how managing projects has changed in today's remote and hybrid workplaces. For the background and importances, remote work has rapidly grown, especially after the pandemic. While it offers flexibility and access to global talent, it also introduces new challenges for project managers. Challenges like communication breakdowns, time zone differences, loss of team cohesions, and a lot more challenges require new strategies and tools to keep projects on track. Some solutions. In my term paper, I discussed key tools like Slack, Zoom, Trello, and cloud storage that help teams stay connected and organized. It also covers best practices like setting clear goals, holding regular check-ins, and building virtual team culture. Case studies from companies like GitLab and Microsoft show how real-world organizations are adapting by using hybrid work models and digital platforms. Future outlook. I also explore future trends such as using artificial intelligence (AI) in project management and shifting towards decentralized team structures. These innovations could make remote work more efficient and inclusive. In conclusion, effective project management in remote environments require digital fluency, trust, adaptability. Thank you for watching.
Good afternoon, Mr. Anayo. My name is Nico Jackson, and I'm here to talk to you about project management. First of all, what is project management? Project management is the process of applying knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet specific goals within a defined time frame. It involves planning, organizing, managing resources to bring about the successful completion of specific project objectives. The key aspects include scope, time, cost, and quality. The ultimate goal is to meet clients' expectations while balancing these constraints. Every project has a life cycle broken into 5 phases: initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and the 5th one is closing. The first one, initiation, is defining the project at high level and getting approval. Planning is setting detailed roadmaps and timelines. Execution, doing the actual work. Monitoring and controlling, tracking progress and making adjustments. The last one, finalizing everything and reviewing success. Each stage is critical and requires collaboration, communication, and coordination. The role of the project manager. The project manager is the heart of any project. They lead the team, manage the stakeholders, and ensure resources are used efficiently. Their tasks include setting goals and schedules, managing budgets and risks, motivating team members, and communicating with stakeholders. They use tools like Gantt charts, work breakdown structures, and project management softwares like Microsoft Project or Trello. Why project management matters. Good project management helps organizations save time and money, deliver consistent quality, avoid risks and scope creep, improves communication and teamwork. It ensures the project delivers real value, not just outputs but outcomes that can make a difference. Conclusion: to sum up, project management is a structured way to turn ideas into reality by managing time, cost, scope, and quality. Project managers help teams succeed if you're aiming to lead, solve problems, or work well with others. Project management is a skill worth mastering. Thank you for watching.
Good morning, sir. My name is Michaelam Akachukwu Onoha, and my matric number ends with 7226. So I'm here to discuss about the 10 paper on the topic project management for educational facility construction. So let's get into it. Now, all students have a right to quality learning environment. However, in many countries, the educational process is compromised by poorly constructed facilities that are vulnerable to both natural and man-made hazards, by inflexible and inaccessible learning spaces, and by badly lit, poorly constructed and inadequately ventilated classrooms. Now, while governments agree that quality educational facilities are an important policy concern, no consensus, however, has been reached on how to define quality. Some case studies show that involving multiple stakeholders from both the public and private sectors in the design, planning, and management of educational spaces can have a positive impact on students' motivation and educational outcomes. However, there is, like I said earlier, little consensus and ways how we define quality, and this is where project management for educational facility construction comes in. This will help in the proper management of the construction of these essential facilities. It will aid proper allocation of resources, funds, and manpower which are required for these educational facilities to be built to full and working capacity. Because for students to get quality education, there has to be state-of-the-art facilities to help make the work easier for the educators and more effective. But because of lack of proper management of these facilities, and they are usually not built up to standard, thereby leading to wasted resources, and this can affect the overall quality of education. Now, a way of doing this is by simply involving the project management life cycle into this. And the first phase of this life cycle is the initiation phase. Now, in the initiation phase, this is the first phase. During this phase, the project is formally initiated and the foundation for the project is laid, and plans have been put in place on how it should be made. Now, the key activities for the initiation phase is project conceptualization, feasibility study, stakeholder identification, and project charter. Now we move on to the next stage, which is the planning stage. Now, during this stage, the project scope is defined. and a detailed project plan is developed. This will help in understanding what the project is for and the essential facilities that will make it, fully functional. Some of the key activities in this phase are the scope definition, work breakdown structure, scheduling, and proper budgeting. Then we move risk management and quality management. Then we move to the next phase, which is the execution phase. Now, during this phase, the project plan is put into action and the project team begins to execute the tasks outlined in the project plan, following it step by step. Some of the key activities here are procurement of all necessary resources, contract management, proper communication, construction management, and proper issue resolution. Now we move on to the next stage, which is the control and monitoring phase. During this phase, the project team monitors the project's progress and performance. They identify and address any issues or deviations from the plan and take corrective and proper actions to get the project back on track. Some of the key activities are process tracking, quality control, issue identification, corrective action, and reporting of these issues for proper resolution. Then moving on to the next stage and the final stage, which is the closure stage. Now, during this stage, the project is formally closed and the project team documents the project history and the lessons learned. The key activities here are project completion. We have to make sure the project is completed according to standard and it is fully functional. The handover, we hand over it to those who make use of these facilities. Evaluation, we test and see our progress and whether what we have done is of quality. Documentation, we document everything, deviations, issues, resolutions to these issues, everything. Then the post-project review to identify more opportunities for improvement. Now, my conclusion, following all these processes, this can help us better the management of constructing educational facilities, thereby making the educational system overall more effective. Thank you very much.
Good day, sir. My name is David Mahmoud Obaji, matric number 7376. I'll be talking on, I'll be summarizing my research paper on inventory management and project efficiency for your course 304. My introduction, I need to understand that inventory management is not just about storing goods. It's a critical factor in how well a project performs. In how well a project performs. From construction to tech, poor inventory control leads to delays, budget overruns, and waste. We define key concepts like inventory control, project efficiency, and supply chain alignment. The problem statement is very clear. Many projects suffer due to stockouts, overstocking, or lack of real-time inventory data. The objectives were to examine how inventory management affects project outcomes and to identify best practices for improvement. Our research questions included: how does inventory accuracy affect project timelines, and what role does technology play in inventory efficiency? The significance of this study lies in helping businesses reduce waste and boost project success rates. Now, on to Chapter 2, our literature review. Here, we explore existing theories like just in time, JIT, and economic order quantity, EOQ. We examine how inventory systems, whether manual or digital, directly impact project timelines and resource utilization. We also looked at how inventory management supports other areas like project planning, cost control, and risk management. Key findings show that automated inventory systems like barcoding and RFID significantly enhance project delivery by minimizing errors and delays. And finally, we identified a couple of research gaps, such as lack of long-term and cross-industry studies on inventory's impact on efficiency, which this paper helps to address. Now, on our chapter 3, methodology. This chapter explains how The research was conducted. We used a mixed methods approach, combining both quantitative data from surveys and project reports, and also qualitative insights from expert interviews. The research design was very descriptive, targeting project managers, inventory officers, and supply chain personnel across industries like construction and manufacturing. Data was collected through structured questionnaires and analyzed using both. The data was collected through structured questionnaires and was analyzed using both statistical tools and thematic analysis. We ensured ethical standards through informed consent, confidentiality, and data protection. Now, in our chapter 4, focused on our results and our findings. From our analysis, we see that over 65% of respondents confirmed that inventory errors directly caused project delays. We also saw that companies using digital inventory systems reported 30 to 50% better project performance. Another of our findings was that sectors like construction experienced the most impact due to material unavailability. With one challenge faced, some challenges we faced included inaccurate forecasting, lack of trained personnel, and poor integration between inventory and project planning tools. We also found a strong correlation between inventory accuracy and project success, which very much confirms our hypothesis. Now, in chapter 5, there was a discussion. This chapter tied the findings to real world implications. We discussed how digital inventory systems like ERP and RFID reduce lead times and improved planning accuracy. Challenges such as technology adoption resistance and lack of skilled personnel were highlighted and covered. From a strategic standpoint, we emphasized that inventory management should not be treated as an isolated function, but as a core element of project success. Now, to conclude, we concluded that efficient inventory management boosts project efficiency through time.
Good day, sir. My name is Jigba Enes from Software Engineering. So today I'll be presenting a project called Managing Student Engagement Projects. So what this project really means is that it's centered on the importance of student engagement in modern education, and I, Jigba Enes, I'm going to argue that learning is more effective when students are actively involved through hands-on projects which bridge the gap between classroom theory and real-world applications. Okay, so what's the background about this project? Well, it starts by acknowledging the traditional teaching methods. The traditional teaching methods aren't enough anymore, especially with all the digital distractions and varied learning styles. Educators now use student engagement projects to get students more involved through teamwork, critical thinking, and practical applications. What are the goals of this engagement project? There are several goals, but I just listed a few. This helps students apply theory in real-world scenarios, build soft skills like communication and leadership, increase motivation and sense of ownership, promote creativity and community building among peers. So how do we manage this project effectively? That's a core part of the paper. It lists some practical strategies. I listed some practical strategies. Set clear goals and expectations from the start. Encourage collaborative and active learning. Make context relevant and meaningful to students' life. Offer regular feedback to keep students on track. Ensure that inclusivity and adapt to different learning needs. Celebrate achievements publicly. It really boosts motivation. Yeah. Sounds great, but what are the challenges? It can't be all smooth all times. Absolutely, challenges are real. The paper breaks them. I break them down. So the first one, motivation drops when students lose interest or get overwhelmed. Group communications issues like conflicts and unequal participation. Limited time and resources which can slow progress. Different learning styles. Not everyone learns the same way. Like everybody has his own aspect of learning, so not everyone learn the way the other person learned. Assessment problems, like how do you fairly evaluate engagement? Okay, and the solution to this problem, like for each challenge, it provides practical tips. Tie project to student interest and give feedback often. Set clear groups rules and use collaboration tools like Slack or Trello to communicate among students. Be flexible with timeline and provide alternative ways to meet goals. Offer diverse learning activities and extra support where needed. Use a mix of assessments, like for example peer reviews, rubrics and reflections. So are there any real world examples to back this up? Yes, of course there are real world examples. Like for example, a high school project on solar powered devices showed how real world relevance increased participation. A university online group project during COVID used Slack and Google tools to keep students engaged remotely, which they were able to accomplish their project very well. So the next page, what about evaluating these projects? How do educators measure success? Like firstly, formative, like ongoing feedback and journals. Summative, that's final reports or presentations. Self and peer evaluations to build accountability. Fabrics and checklists for fair grading. Surveys and instructors observations for broader insight. Okay, so what's the takeaway and the final recommendation? I will recommend every student to be clear about goals and grading. Create an inclusive and safe space. And in conclusion, this wraps up by saying I'll wrap this up by saying managing student engagement will lead to better learning, stronger skills, and empower students. But it takes flexibility, ongoing support, and a focus on both the academic and emotional needs of learners. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for listening.
Hi everyone, my name is Akagumisho Ojochodibomi and I am from the Department of Software Engineering and my matric number is VUG2274223 and I'm here to explain my topic called Managing IT Project Dependencies and Risks. This video is for me to help you understand that in every IT project there are dependencies and if you keep on ignoring these dependencies, it can create a risk or it can lead to risks. Firstly, what are dependencies? Dependencies, think of them like building blocks. Every task has to be completed. A task has to be completed before you start another one. And in dependencies, there are 4 types. There's finish to finish, there's start to start, there's start to finish, and there's finish to start. And if there's any delay or mess up in any of these dependencies, it can lead to messing up the whole project. Luckily, managers use tools like ClickUp and dependency mapping to help salvage this situation. Secondly, what are risks? Risks can come up from any parts of the project. It can come up from people related issues. This is when you don't have skilled workers. This is when your workers are unskilled. Secondly is process related risks. This is when your workers don't even understand how the process of the project is supposed to go. Thirdly is technical issues. This is when you use the wrong technology for your project. Thirdly, we have to understand how dependencies and risks are connected. When tasks depend on each other, it can create problems. For example, lack of resources, delay due to lack of resources. Secondly, confusion between your team members, teamwork, like nobody understands what they are doing. A real life example is the Equifax data breach and the Heartbleed bug. This was caused due to lack of proper dependency management. And then now, finally, we have to understand how this can even be managed. Like, what can you do to help manage this situation? There are 2 main frameworks that we use Now we have to understand how these dependencies and risks can be managed or how they can be controlled. There are two main frameworks that I use. There's PMBOK. This is a well-detailed and project manager focused framework. And the second one is Prince 2. This is a very structured and simple framework that is mostly for teams. The best practice of this framework includes doing regular risk assessments, 2, encouraging your teammates to communicate with one another, 3, mapping dependencies early, 4, using agile methods to keep on staying flexible. Lastly, I did a case study, or I studied two different organizations, and one came out successful and the second one came out failed. The first organization was a public sector that used proper dependency management, and they were able to succeed in their latest revenue. They were able to generate a lot of money. The second one is BBC Multimedia Initiative, and they had a lot of oversight and they didn't manage their dependencies very well. So this caused them to lose a lot. What I'm basically trying to make you understand is that managing dependencies is not just a technical risk. It can come up from anybody. You need to keep on planning. You need to monitor everybody. You need to control everybody's understanding of the project. You need to teach people. You need to look into every area. For you to have a successful project, you have to act fast and think on time. You don't just leave it to using the right technology or stuff like that. It's just you being able to understand and plan properly. Thank you for listening to my video. My name is Conglomeration Ochocholubomi, and
Good day, sir. My name is Momza Jibrin Douda. In this video, I'll be explaining why time management is important in research and development project. And the title of my term paper is time management in R&D. The meaning of R&D is research and development. Research and development is all about creating new things like medicine, softwares around for people to use. But it is very, very tricky sometimes because you always don't know what will make it work. That's why managing your time is very, very hard. But sometimes it's very, very important, very super important. Here are why time management matters. 1, good time management helps teams. It really helps teams in such a way like spending less money, stay organized and less stressed, finish project faster. It helps in finishing your project faster. Not less than 1 hour, you finish it with the help of research development. And without time management, R&D projects can take too long, too cost, or even fail at the end of the day. Here are my common challenges in R&D. Time management is hard in R&D because the project goal can change often. Like it can change often without you knowing. And 2, you always don't know how long it will take. The time maximum or the time minimum, you don't even know when the time will end or something. 3, it has to be creative when they are tight deadlines. For example, if you are given a deadline and you cannot reach to the point of the deadline, so it's very tight for you without the help of research management. It's very tight for you to finish it at that deadline. Here are some tools for research management and methods. 1, I'll just list 1 tool for the research management because I don't have much time. It's just 5-minute video. Number 1 tool is agility tools like Scrum and Kanban to teams work in short, flexible steps. These tools help teams stay on track even when the project is complex. It really helps teams stay on track even when the work or the project or the software is really, really complex or hard. Part 4. These are the new way and the old way of research and development. There are mainly 2 ways in research and development. 1, the traditional way. The traditional way make a big plan at the start and follow strictly. This works best when the steps are clearly, like in drugs and testing. The allergy way works in small steps and adjust as you can go. This is better for creative or tech project when things change often. Many companies now use both, depending on the project. Many companies use the both ways now, but depending on the project you are working on or the team is working on. Here are the real life examples of research development. One, Google X. Google X give teams short time limit and steps slowly project quickly. NASA uses strictly reschedule to launch and mass over time. So in short time management in R&D is super important. It helps you move faster, stay on budget, and still be creative. The best team use a mix of tools, flexible plans, and make think to manage time without slowing their ideas down. So this is the end of my research topic. I just like briefly explain it and summarize all my work. So without the help of time management, you really spend a lot of money, and at the end of the day you don't even know how much you spent. So this is the end of my video, and thank you so much for watching. May God bless you.